Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Lee at the Mac Post. And what a week to be a Blue, what a week to be an Evertonian. And I can't wait to get stuck right in and bask in this positivity alongside two really special guests. As always, I've got Dave Johnston with me. Hi, Dave.
Evening.
And I'm also joined tonight by a certain someone who joined Everton in 1982, spent 6 glorious years during our most successful period in the club's history, making 106 appearances, scoring 19 goals. That's a ratio of 1 in 5, by the way, a better rate than most of our strikers before and after Lukaku. His medal collection boasts 2 league titles, 1 FA Cup, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup, and 2 Charity Shields. And he also holds the title of the most iconic Everton moustache, I reckon, of all time. And in recent times, he's the man who gets inside my head on a golf course more than anyone else on this planet. Joining us from Jerez in Spain, or Jerez, pardon my pronunciation, they should know better. Degsy Mountfield, welcome.
Welcome, Degs.
Hiya, boys. How are you? I've just thought I'd keep quiet to get you worried then. I'm fine.
We're good, Degs. We're good. How are you? How's Spain treating you?
What did that say, Ellie?
How's Spain treating you? I know you're joining us from Spain.
Spain is wonderful. Into our 5th week now. Spain, I'm now about to head to Sevilla tomorrow. It's brilliant. It's nice having a mobile home. You can just drop camp anywhere you want.
Love it. Me and Dave aren't in the slightest bit jealous, are we, Dave?
No, not at all, mate. I'm happy in sunny Kirby at the moment.
Yeah, as am I. As am I.
I'm happy, even happy in 16 degrees in Spain.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right, stop rubbing it in now. Stop, pack it in. So let's get into it. Let's chat the Toffees, and it has been an incredible week. I know I'm certainly still on a high. Everton produced one of the most spirited and unified performances I've in recent memory and came away with only our 3rd win at Old Trafford since the inception of the Premier League. Everton now sits on 18 points and are only 3 points away from a top 4 in what's a really congested Premier League table. So I'm going to come to you first, Degs.
Yep.
You know, despite currently enjoying your break in Spain, I know you've watched the match with the missus as well. So give us your summary and just how you felt after such a brilliant win.
I think after what we saw, we were all a bit concerned going to Old Trafford with the record, but the performance was absolutely outstanding. Everybody did their utmost, and had to even more when the incident with Ghana guy Mike and Keane happened, and all credit to Jordan Pickford hauling him away because it could have got a bit more irate, I think. And I think if he had wound up with the red card, we might be able to appeal a bit more. It's a very, very soft decision by the referee. It didn't take time to think about it. He quickly produced the card, and I thought the one prior to that, when Jay actually ran up and chested them, Kopites showed more aggression than guided. But the performance after that was just magnificent. Everybody put a shift in. You know, the Dewsbury Halls, the Grealishes, and Dyes raised their game and covered areas, and all credit to Barry up front. I thought that's the best I've seen this season. I think giving him that chance to play again has helped him enormously. But all in all, it was a superb performance by everybody.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I think I've not seen a reaction like this from the Everton fans in a long, long time, perhaps as far back as I can remember. I think everyone's feeling like it's perhaps a little bit of a shift. We've talked at length about Everton's dismal record at these grounds, and before this game, 2 wins at Old Trafford since 1992, since the Premier League began. It doesn't make for good reading. And there's this big focus on, is it Everton's mentality? Is it a deep-rooted problem? Is it an inherent issue at the club? And since this win, there's been a lot of talk around this is maybe the first big step in putting this to bed and moving on with a more of a winning mentality, getting that sort of big club feel back, and being able to go to these places and get results perhaps more often, Degs.
Yeah, correct. We've come close on numerous occasions where we've gone for a good performance and come away with a draw, and we said we're going to kick on from there, but we've never done it against it. I don't like saying the top 6 club. We're all Premier League clubs. It shouldn't be a top 6 as everyone's in the same boat as a Premier League club. But we've threatened more. But what I saw on Monday night proves that the lads have a mentality that I probably haven't seen for a while. It was really backs against the wall performance, and all credit to, as I said before, they just raised the game and they closed down. And we had some good opportunities to improve it, but the 2 or 3 saves that Pickford made just proved why he is England's #1 goalkeeper and probably the best in Premier League at the moment. That save from Zexi, it was just marvellous, magnificent. The best I've probably seen this season, probably the best I've seen Pickford make in his Everton career. And that just proves you can see the determination. I don't like all this high five when people make a save or a block, but I could see the spirit in the group of the lads there. They were determined not to let this slip away, and they.
Yeah, no one can deny that.
Or more we set with 10 men. It shows how good the spirit is in the camp at the moment.
Yeah, it did. It did. I think the togetherness was there for all to see during the match, after the match, and since. It's been fantastic. Dave, I'll bring you in. I know you spoke to me off air around the fact that this result caught you by surprise a little bit. I don't think you're going to be the only Evertonian who that applies to, but what were your thoughts on the game and just how pleased have you been?
I've been over the moon with it. I mean, but I will go back to what you just said there, where I've been caught by surprise by it. I mean, we were both pretty pessimistic at the start of the game.
Just a bit.
Just a tiny bit, but you've read that script before. We start well. We maybe snatch an early goal. Then for whatever reason, 60 odd 70 minutes, Dex is gone. 60 odd 70 minutes, we concede a goal, and then it just ends up being a late winner from, it's usually Bruno Fernandes or something like that, and he shouldn't be on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of feeling we all had there. Yeah, all those scenarios play in your head, and you play that all the time, and rightly or wrongly, I think it's just the pessimism of an Evertonian, really. When you go to the likes of Old Trafford, we've been here and read the stories that many times that you just think, well, same old, but pleasantly surprised. Absolutely over the moon with the result. The early sending off probably could have just completely wiped us out, but as you were talking before, we've got players there who have got a mentality shift and have brought that mentality shift in. Jack Grealish, you've got someone you can rely on in Illiman and Dye. Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, as we said a couple of weeks ago, maybe he's had a little bit of a shaky return since the yellow card and since the suspension. Last couple of games, he's been absolutely phenomenal.
He has.
And
top man in recently.
Yeah. But then you saw there's been videos of Thomas Tuchel talking to James Garner and Jack Grealish after the game there. Wouldn't surprise me if Dewsbury Hall's on that list to be chatted to as well, because it definitely. I know you'll probably point towards Pickford as being man of the match. For me, Dewsbury Hall was just phenomenal.
I'm going to bring you back to Grealish there, because a couple of weeks back on the last podcast, I know we've both been not critical, but I think we've just picked up on maybe a little bit of a dip in Jack Grealish's performances. But anyone who had any doubts around his commitment, whether he was a flash player, a luxury player, so to speak, only have to look at Jack Grealish's performance when we went down to 10 men. The work he put in, supporting Mikalenko there at left back, tracking back, working his arse off. I thought he was absolutely fantastic as well.
I'm pretty sure he vomited at one point as well. He was walking around clutching his stomach like he either shit himself or he'd vomited. And he was looking to go off. And I think it was toward like 75 minutes. He was wavering a little bit, but then he just found his second wind and he was everywhere. Like you say, supporting Mikalenko so well. And we've said that, Liam. We were trying not to be negative about what we were saying about Jack Grealish, because simply put, he just needs to put his laces through a ball and maybe have a couple of extra
shots.
Have a crack. Yeah. But his all-round play, his passing, the no-look pass into James Garner before the goal, that whole build-up is an absolutely brilliant passage of play. And it started with Jack Grealish, and he's been tantamount to everything that we get involved in. Okay, he's not scoring goals, but I think it's something like he's provided 20 odd chances during the 13 games that we played. So we can't criticize him, and like I said, we're not. But you know what I mean? We just like to see, it was where he was getting in games for Villa. He'd grab the game by the scruff of the neck and he'd score a goal that would go with it. I want to see that side of Jack Grealish. Just take the brakes off and just let him run.
Yeah, I think it's exciting though that we've still got that potentially to come. Degsy, I'm going to come back to yourself. So obviously the pivotal incident, first incident of the match happened on, I think it was just 9 minutes. Idrissa Gana Gueye, really, really out of character. Obviously he's since apologised. gets in a scrap with Michael Keane after a misplaced pass, and who blames who? Obviously, I think there's a little bit of both to blame. So I want your view, Degs, as an ex-pro and an ex-top-level professional. How common were those incidents perhaps in your time, and what was your view on what happened on Monday night?
What happened on Monday night was, I think, Johnny Gay played an awful ball into an area, expecting someone to come and win it, and it was the wrong ball to play. It needed to go out towards the touchline, and then Michael Keane sort of said, "What are you doing there?" And he just lost it. So we lost it, and I've seen it on the football field in the past. I've had an incident back in the late 90s when I was at Carlisle where I had a right gut, one of our midfield players letting his man run, and he managed to headbutt me. And lucky for me, the keeper held me back. If I'd have caught him, I'd have knocked him out. And when I got the change, he would already left and gone home. So I would have knocked him out the second time for a caught him. But these things happen. It's a spare of the moment thing. It's high intensity football. You're trying to do your best, and nobody's perfect. We always make mistakes, and that was just a very, very momentary lapse of everything by the players. I do think it was the wrong ball from Ghana guy. Flick it was outside of his right foot back into the box, which is a dangerous shot, and then picks and make this. And if that had been me, I'd have said exactly the same. Well, I don't know what Michael Keane said, but I'd had a right go to myself, and that was me. But just to me, Michael Keane must have just said something, and he's just lost it momentarily. And I think if he hadn't reacted the way he did, especially when he got the red card, he lost it even more. And we could have had a chance, as I said before, of appealing the decision. The referee should have just had a word with him and said, "Look, it's a yellow card. You can't do that." But by granting the red card straight away, I think he just lost it again. And all credit Jordan Pickford dragging him away, because it could have got worse. But you look at the referee decision, and I do think the Xerxes one, when he jumped up and ran up to Karkowski and chested him. I know he didn't raise his hands, but that was more aggression in that to me than there was with the little slap by Ghana guy. But referees referee games in their own way at times. I think sometimes we are on the end of one or two strange decisions. But as you said before, you cannot fault what happened after that. For that next 90 minutes with the added time on it, the lads were just magnificent. And getting back said about Jack before, we all expect Jack to turn the game on head with a bit of skill. I think he's playing a different role to when he was Aston Villa, when he was more centre mid and he controlled the game and he ran the game for Villa. Being out wide, he can be a bit isolated at times, but I agree with you before, he's got to have a few more pops at the target or whip the ball in a bit quicker. Because if you whip it in quicker, the striker, they have to go at the striker. Don't let the striker moan at you for not putting the ball in the box when he's made a run. Because that ball in the box might hit a defender, go in the back of the net. But as you said, Jack is an outstanding footballer. And I only developed through the Villa ranks. And I saw him dominate games at Villa. And he's lost his way a little bit in the last couple of years at Man City. But you can see the fire's back in his league. You can see the smile on his face. He's enjoying his football again.
I think he's feeling the love of Everton, isn't he, Dex? I think he likes to be the main man, and straight away he's come in and the fans have taken to him straight away. He's the biggest name we've had in.
Yeah, to be honest, you're right. He's the biggest name we've had for a long, long time, and Everton fans expect him to be a bit of a catalyst. And at the moment, he's proven it. He is a catalyst, and Dewsbury Hall's loving his game again and dies on a different level. And I said before, Barry up front on Monday night, that's the best I've seen him. He won headers, he chased, he worked hard. And I know David Moyes has told him he's going to have a run again because we're going to lose Beto for the African Cup of Nations very soon. So I think there's a goal in Barry very soon. I think that'll give him a world of confidence as well.
Yeah, well, that's a really good segue into my next question, Degs. It was around here. No, Barry, I'll come to you, Dave. Obviously, Degs has just give a glowing testimony there of recent performances from Barry, and I agree. I think the last couple 2.5 games that we've seen him, he's really come on leaps and bounds. And the next step for him is obviously finding the back of the net for the first time. I hope it's going to be on this Saturday. I think it'd be a perfect occasion. Saturday night under the lights of Hill Dickinson. I can actually sense that happening. I hope I'm right. But he is improving, Dave. He needs a goal. Degs has just mentioned there something that I completely forgot. Obviously, Beto's African Cup of Nations commitments. It is probably a decision by Moyes now to say, listen, we're going to be without Beto anyway. We'll give you a run. And do you think that's given Barry confidence, knowing that he's not going to be getting hooked after 45 minutes, that he is going to be starting perhaps next week, as long as he puts a shift in and he does himself justice? Because something seems to have clicked with him, doesn't it?
I think so. And I think the Fulham game was that's where the penny dropped, I think, with him. He did come off, but playing with a dislocated shoulder, as we later found out. but the ovation that he got, you know, the adulation that he got from the crowd there, because we Evertonians know if you put in a shift, you'll get praise. You put in a day's work at Goodison, now at Hill Dickinson, you'll get praised. You'll have the crowd on you.
It doesn't matter about the goal, does it? If he's done that, it almost doesn't matter.
You know, I mean, I think we even thought that with Calvert-Lewin for a long period of time last season. You know, okay, he wasn't scoring goals, but he was getting involved with the side. He was his hold-up play was better than his finishing, obviously, but he was getting involved and keeping the team together, if you like. It wasn't the greatest, but I think that's what we saw from Barry early on. You know, it was shades of that, where it's like, I need to find my confidence somehow. I was like, well, if you find your confidence by literally just, you know, getting stuck in, getting involved, the crowd will back you and the crowd will be right behind you. So if he gets a goal, I think the roof will come off on Saturday. I really do. And I think it'll be to his credit. And if he gets that goal, he'll go on a run. And I think that's the only downside I've seen to Everton, really. You know, where would we be if our strikers would just put in even a modest 5 or 6 goals this season? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Even if they're equalisers, even if we're scoring early on with the striker, that, you know, we need it. We desperately need a striker scoring goals, and hopefully Barry's got that idea. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to get a goal. And if he gets a goal, he'll settle, and he'll feel better about himself. The crowd will feel better about him being on the pitch. And yeah, I think there's still a lot to come from Tierno Barry, and I hope it comes sooner rather than later. But he's definitely turned that corner for me.
Yeah, and you know what? If we haven't got a striker who's scoring goals, then maybe we just need a centre half who can pitch in with 14 a season, Degs?
A long time ago, boys.
Always modest.
It's one of them. You talk about goals, and people talk about goals I scored. If you're getting quality service in the box, anyone's going to score a goal. And you look at the goal Michael Keane scored with his head. It's been quality service. We're getting better quality balls into the box now. I don't care if it's Barry's backside or his nose. He's going to score soon, and it will set him off, we hope, on a bit of a run. It'll give him more confidence. But we are now starting to get some better delivery into the box, and the better delivery means anyone score, even an own goal, and it'll work for us all. But that's what we've lacked in recent years, and I say this to everybody: when we've got corners, free kicks, the quality has to be better than we see at certain times. But we do have a little bit more quality on deliveries now, which will make a difference to not just Barry or Beto scoring goals, but people like Tarkowski and Keane getting goals as well.
Yeah, Tex, I want to talk about results maybe as catalysts, and I'm conscious not to get carried away. I know it's only one game and it's one win, but there has been a lot of talk after the game. Obviously, we can go back to the 80s and Kevin Brock's back pass. We can talk about Joe Royle's first game and turning things around, and what happened later that season. How big can what could this win do for Everton moving forward?
My concern is, Lee, it gives the fans too much hope. That's the problem. We've not had this sort of victory at Old Trafford, or one of the bigger clubs, as they call them, for a long, long time. And it's a massive boost for everybody around the club. The fan will go into the game on Saturday expecting Everton to win 3-0, 4-0, and Barry's got a hat-trick. It's not going to be like that. As you said, I hope it's not a false dawn. It's given us a lot more belief in what we've seen on the football pitch. And we've not played badly this season, but we haven't converted those chances into goals. It make those 0-0 and 1-1 draws into 1-2, 1-3-1 wins. And that's what we've got to do more. And I'm still hoping it gives us now. The fans are going to go to the game on Saturday full of hope and expectation. I hope the atmosphere is magnificent. I will be watching it. And the crowd at the new stadium, Hill Dixon, can certainly do a lot more for the club now. And I think we've got to get right behind the lads all the time. We have over the years had a mentality of, you make a mistake, you're on his back straight away. No player is perfect. No one in life is perfect. We all make mistakes, whether on a football field, on a cricket field, or walking down the street or playing with your mates. You're going to make a mistake, and we have to make sure. And a golf course, I've seen that before, a little 3-foot putt you miss all the time. And I just think we've got to be a little bit more patient at times as a group of fans, that we're not actually too impatient with the players and get on the back after one mistake. And that's my worry, is if it doesn't start well, we don't start well on Saturday, and the groans come and this starts and that starts. We've got to be right at it from the first minute. And the fans have got to be with us all the way through the game. And that's what I want the fans to do, to get behind the team and don't worry about what the score. Just keep supporting the team, because if it's 1-0 down, we can make them 2-1. We can get back in the game and overtake them again. And we've got to do more and more of that as a set of fans.
Dex, how much of a coincidence do you feel it is, or is it not a coincidence that we've brought the likes of Jack Grealish, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, people who have come from big clubs, played in big games, have maybe higher expectations of themselves and the teammates, that we've now gone away and won at Old Trafford? This is the first season that they come in. Is the personnel an important aspect of that?
It's massive. It's massive. And I'll knock you back to a year ago. Would those players have been here if the old owner would have been in charge? Has the new owners been more of a sway in the lads coming to the club? Is David Moyes more of a sway in them coming to the club? I don't think these players would have signed 12 months ago to Everton Football Club. Now we've got the new stadium, we've got new investment, new owners, and new hope and ambition. I think that's going to attract a lot more players to the club in the near future.
Yeah, I think they've had a huge impact. Dave, I'm going to come back to you. We're going to look ahead slightly to Saturday night. It's going to be I think it'll be the best atmosphere we've seen at Hill Dickinson Stadium so far. I think the kick-off time, 5:30. I think the opposition, we've had a recent rivalry with Newcastle. They don't like us very much, I think, because of Jordan Pickford. We don't like them very much because of a certain very overrated left winger. It's going to be a great atmosphere. Everton can go as high as 4th with a big win. What are your thoughts heading into Saturday?
I sort of echo what Dex is saying. We've got to stay behind the team. We've got the team's got to start as strong as it can. I looked at that Moyes side the other day. We both did, and we went Coleman at right back, really, and then we were sort of disappointed with how that looked. And I think that's the kind of mentality that I think that's what Dex is trying to get at there. Get out of that mentality now. We've just had a team there that have just worked the bollocks off at Old Trafford and got a result in the first time in how many years. Bobby Brown Shoes was on the commentary. It's the first time since he was there that we won at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? So that's the catalyst. That's what we need now. But it's like, okay, everyone behind this team. No, Tieno Barry's the prime example there. Everyone's made up with his performance. Just needs a goal. Everyone's made up with how the midfield coped without Garnagay. Let's keep that mentality. Let's keep that momentum. Let's keep that strength and that spirit. But we've got to take that into Saturday, and we've got to take it further and further now. You pointed out this was a catalyst. It could be a catalyst. I'm hoping it's similar to the Phil Neville tackle on Cristiano Ronaldo against United. Mm-hmm. That kind of turn.
It could be.
Just turns it ever so slightly, but does enough to have everyone behind the side. And I'm guilty for that, because I'm one of Moyes' biggest critics. Do you know what I mean? We can all shout blue in the face and that. But I think that even for me, I've got to stop that. I've got to get that out of my head and get behind. I'm behind Everton now. Doesn't matter. I'm not behind individuals. I'm behind Everton Football Club, and that's how I need to see it every game. I will cheer everyone on. If you're in a blue shirt, you're getting everything from me now. But we can't let that mentality slip. We can't let a stray pass or a bad ball go astray and suddenly the groans start. Dex has just said it there. We can't let that happen. We've got to keep this positive mentality. We've had a good couple of games there against Fulham. Great win at home against Fulham. So let's keep it going. Home, away. We've had an international break where you come off an international break and usually you're like, fuck, this game's going to be a tough one. And we've ground out a solid, brilliant, excellent performance at Old Trafford. So now we've got to take that same kind of thing back home and keep the results going.
Yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? Because before that Fulham game, there was a little bit of doom and gloom, and our position in the table sort of reflected that. Mm-hmm. But 2 wins on the spin in this Premier League can just make a huge difference, and it just changes the perception completely. But I don't think Evertonians are naive. I think we're passionate, and sometimes I certainly get carried away, and I will be reactive after results, or I'll like you've just alluded to there. When I see a team sheet, I can be critical of it without really giving it a chance. I think that's just part of being a football fan and being passionate towards your club and having an opinion. I don't think there's anything
You want to see
right
your
or
best
wrong.
side. You want to see your best side out on the pitch, don't you? Every game.
You do, but ultimately, I know certainly for me and you and everybody else, I'm sure the only thing that matters is the result. So if I, for example, I wasn't happy with Seamus Coleman starting, I didn't get any sort of satisfaction when he hobbled off after 5 minutes. I was
not at all.
It's not as if I'm going getting. Look, I was right. That's a pathetic way to look at things. The only thing that is important is Everton getting the results. Doesn't matter what I think of an individual player or a system or a setup from the manager, or in your case, what you think of the manager. It doesn't matter. It's about Everton getting the results on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think we're not the finished article. It was always going to be a slight transition season, but we're definitely seeing real green shoots of optimism, and we are seeing a little bit of a shift in mindset. Everton will lose games this season, games that we're probably not expected to. But if we keep up this level of commitment and the application and the desire and the effort that every single one of those players put in on Monday night, then we'll win a lot of games, and we'll continue to upset a few teams as well. And I think, especially heading into maybe the FA Cup in January, that should give us hope that no matter who we draw, we're capable of going away and getting results and progressing in that competition, because I think that's going to be vital for the outlook of the season as well.
I think the FA Cup, I mean, I'm happy to put all my eggs in the FA Cup basket.
We're not going to go down, are we? So
no, exactly. Not a chance. You know what I mean? And the way things are, Liverpool are going down. But I would happily throw all my eggs in an FA Cup basket all day. Just give me something.
I'm the same as you. I absolutely would as well. It's almost like the Ange Postecoglou, easy for me to say, put my teeth back in approach, isn't it? So it was almost like their league season was gone. Ours isn't. We're in a healthy position, but he put all his eggs in that Conference League basket, and it paid off. Oh well, never mind. Such a shame. It looks like Deggsy's had some technical difficulties over in Spain. He's definitely run out of data. Spending too much money.
And Roman charges are going to kill him.
On sherry trips and paella tasting. But listen, Deggs, absolutely, as always, absolutely fantastic. He's always willing to come on and help out. He's a top guy, and I hope everyone enjoyed that. It's always fascinating listening to someone who's played at the top level for Everton and his thoughts on things. So thanks, as always, to Deggsy for joining us. Before we wrap things up, I'm just going to go across to my good friend Dave, who's just got a couple of things he wants to mention before we close it off for this evening.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, right. So we've got a couple of events coming up very, very soon. The first one I'm just going to mention, because I'll mention another one, the pop-up shop at another time. But we've got the big Everton Christmas quiz that's going to be at the Blue House opposite the new stadium on the 12th of December at 7:30. It's a £250 cash prize. Plus, we've got like boss prizes for second and third place as well. Signed memorabilia, that kind of stuff. Tickets are available on skiddle.com. SKIDDLE.com. I don't know. For a team of 4, it's £10. So up to a team of 4, it's £10 for entry. Up to a team of 6, it's £15. But some of the offers are boss on ale as well. And all right, it's Colin and it's Cause, but it'll get you bevied, and it's £2.50 a pint. So you can't
wow.
go on with that. I'd go and spend a tenner, and I'd be on my arse anyway. So I'm such a lightweight.
So would I. We're getting old, Dave.
Oh, definitely, mate. But yeah, that's the 12th of December at 7:30 kickoff, and it's going to be hosted by Paul. Hopefully, I'll be there as well to help host or get involved. But hopefully, see you all there. Get on skiddle.com and buy your tickets for it real soon.
Thanks, Dave. I won't be there because I know I'm on dad duty that night because I've got so many children, and that rules me out, unfortunately. But it sounds like an amazing Everton night, that just before Christmas, getting into the Christmas spirit, and you can't beat a good quiz. So that's it. That wraps it up for episode 3 of Lee at the Mac Post. As always, thanks for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed that one. Keep an eye on the Falcon Blues TV socials for updates on what's coming next. There's going to be lots coming your way. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of this week. Let's hope we head into Saturday and we give Newcastle a good hiding. Up the toffees.
Up the fucking toffees. Colin, Chong.